Okay, I'll admit it, I was wrong. At Castleview Primary School yesterday, when I saw just one boy arriving wearing a skirt as the school had requested, I thought that parents there had had more sense than to allow their sons to take part in a whole school cross-dressing day. Now, some parents were absolutely appalled by the event, but it seems that many were not. They were happy to have their sons inducted into blurred sex identity. How do I know this? Because the school and its staff have been proudly publishing photos of their indoctrination and corrupting of children on social media. Let's have a look. Right, let's have a look at the social media output. Here are three of the male teachers wearing skirts. I don't know about you, but when I see that, I just find it repulsive. To see male teachers modelling cross-dressing and urging their primary school class to wear girls' clothes is just absolutely repulsive. But that's what's going on at the primary school. Right, there's some other teachers as well. Here are some pupils. Boys wearing the skirts, more wearing the skirts. This class made sort of skirts out of paper. They're there with their male teacher in a skirt. Now these boys, it says in the background, clothing has no gender. But they're all wearing kilts. That's a bit strange, isn't it? Why have they chosen to wear kilts, which is actually a male item of clothing, if clothing has no gender? I mean, that's a wider question, of course. If clothing has no gender, why do you need to have a special day where the boys and the men wear skirts? Surely if clothing had no gender, that day would be utterly meaningless because they'd already be wearing them. Right, what have we got here? We've got a letter. So one of the classes, obviously, the teacher had got the class to write to the other teachers in the school and to the head teacher saying, we want a skirts day. So you see, it was entirely organic. It was a grassroots thing, completely unguided by the teachers. This class just spontaneously decided to spend the lesson writing to their teachers, asking them to have the skirts day. I mean, I really can't stand the way that teachers use children to advance their agenda. I mean, this class has obviously been led by the nose to do this. They've been told by the teacher, they're not old enough to understand the issues properly. They've been led by the teacher to become basically sort of gender activists, if you like. It's appalling. Another tweet from the school, this teacher showing off how the children have been indoctrinated into these fashionable lines. Clothes have no gender. Here we go, another one. Now, these are some little post-it notes that the boys and girls had written in response to the day. The whole experience has been wonderful, although I learnt the news can't always be right and some comments can be very nasty. So in other words, the teachers have made the pupils aware of the controversy about this. It has been reported, I think, just in the Daily Mail and the Sun, as far as I'm aware. So very little media coverage. But it will have faced criticism in some places as well. But they've obviously said to the children, some nasty people are criticising what we're doing. Again, pure, sheer, straightforward indoctrination. But I say this is a Scottish school, so it would just go ahead. I mean, it's going on in virtually every school in any case. This is just the example we happen to have noticed at the moment. Then they've got the symbol there. I think that's supposed to be the transgender symbol. It's got a couple of extra circles on it, I think. So it's the transgender symbol with love hearts, we love transgenderism in a primary school. Right, what next? I don't like Twitter and everyone else facing the criticism. People shouldn't have to face criticism, in other words. Be yourself. You don't have an opinion if you didn't take part or know the whole story. How about that line? You hear that from some adults, don't you? You can't have an opinion because there's some reason or other, as if some people's opinion just don't matter. But he's learning that at school. He's learning this line, you don't have an opinion. So if you didn't wear a skirt at that day, then you can't have an opinion on it. That's what boys are being taught in school. Okay, face it, boys can wear a skirt. Stop being a drama. I learnt that I should be myself. So a straightforward phrase like that, these children have been taught to interpret that as meaning cross-dressing is perfectly normal, natural and healthy. This last one's maybe the most concerning. I learnt how it feels to wear a skirt, because I don't really wear skirts. I can be who I want to be. Now, one has to suspect that that is the writing of a boy who has tried on a skirt for the first time and, oh, that's what it feels like. I can be who I want to be. It almost could sound like he's maybe taken the first step towards gender confusion. And that's a very, very serious issue. And if that's the case, who do I blame? I mean, those three blokes with their skirts, them. On their head it is if this boy faces serious repercussions through the rest of his life because of their actions. Now, BBC Radio Scotland, they had a discussion based on this Wear a Skirt Day. Now, what was the discussion they had? What was the discussion? Should a school be encouraging boys and male staff to cross-dress for a day? Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? They could have got the head teacher and they could have got me. And there could have been a discussion about that. But oh no. The way it always works on Radio Scotland is the debate is always between where we are and a move in the progressive direction. So it doesn't matter what the result of the debate is. It doesn't matter where in that spectrum it finishes. Things have moved in the progressive direction. They never have a debate between where we are and a move in a conservative direction. They would never do that. So what debate do they have on Radio Scotland? Is it time for gender-neutral school uniforms? As though getting boys and male staff to cross-dress in school is uncontroversial. The real issue is it time for gender-neutral school uniforms? In other words, pursuing the agenda behind the Skirts Day. Now you've got to wonder here, how about the boys who didn't want to take part? How did they feel? They'd feel a bit of a stick in the mud, wouldn't they? The ones who did take part, they're obviously, you get your photograph taken, pat on the head, well done, it's really great what you're doing. Those who didn't, you feel a bit left out, don't you? You know, you're not really playing along. You're not really coming up to the standard expected in that school. How about the staff? And we've got those male staff who are happy to don a skirt. How about any male staff who actually have some decent values in them and some understanding of the harm that's been done to the children in the school? How would they feel? Again, they're probably feeling this has not gone down well with the head teacher. This has hardly done my career any good. This is a bit embarrassing. They probably feel under pressure. Maybe they're even thinking, why did I ever come into teaching in the first place to be involved in an institution like this? The council has approved of it. That's the Labour and SFP council in Edinburgh. Remember that when it comes to local elections next year. How about the Conservatives? Well, the Conservatives, as far as I can tell, are just silent, nothing to say. They're probably thinking, oh, it might be a bit controversial. We might get called homophobic. We might get called transphobic. So best not to really say anything about it, which is not good enough. Because when it comes to protecting children, you've got to speak out, not think, oh, it doesn't quite suit our marketing strategy at the moment. Right, this practice of encouraging cross-dressing in schools, it'll spread like wildfire because there'll be an activist teacher in virtually every school in Scotland. And most head teachers will think, yeah, this is probably going to play well. I don't see any problem. Why don't we go ahead and do the same? Right, we've got to do something about this. At the moment, radical LGBT activists are running the show. They're not sitting back. They're not just watching videos on YouTube. They're not just retweeting and liking the odd Facebook post. They're taking action. And they're basically running the country because they're doing that. We need to respond in kind. I mean, basically, they've declared war on human nature. And if you declare war on human nature, you're not going to win, ultimately. But there can be an awful lot of casualties in the meantime. And in this aspect, those casualties are going to be children. Now, I say they're not going to win the war on human nature, but they also won't lose it until there's an opposition. And we are that opposition, but we need your support. Join us in our mission. We need your support. Do join the Scottish Family Party. There's a link below. Come to our conference. Okay, show up and show your support. There's a link below for that as well. We'd love to see you there. Right, that's the end for this video. I've also made a video that's going to be published maybe on Monday about a debate in the Scottish Parliament which I billed as their Life Fest. So you need to see that to believe it as well. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching.